Alright, so, as you know, the Granite Shin, Crimson Shin, Giga Chad himself, Max Holloway got knocked out for his first time in his career. Now, it wasn't a flatline KO, but it was definitely he got knocked out, you know? Really sucks. Really sucks. But, but, there's something that we need to know as a community. Now, I know the narrative. Ilia beats everyone in the entire UFC. Ilia would fucking knock out Alex Pereira, which, I mean, I'm not saying much. Ilia versus John Jones, book it next. We need to see it. I know the narratives, guys. I know. But we need to remember something here, okay? Ilia Topuria, he is human, okay? Now, listen, sometimes my imagination goes a little bit when I think of Ilia Topuria, you know? I'm thinking like an Islam matchup right after that knockout. I'm like, holy fuck, this guy's just gonna like... Bro, he's literally running through Islam. He's submitting Islam. He will submit Islam. He's knocked out Volk. He's knocked out Max Holloway, arguably the two greatest featherweights of all time. There is levels to this game. Ilia is the new level to the game, is what we've learned, right? But we need to understand something. He is human. What the fuck is this? Get the... anyways. I'm sorry you had to fucking see that. Anyways, I don't even know what that was. Jesus Christ. Let's just get all odds out of here, just in case. Ilia is human. Ilia is human. Now, he's 16 and 17... 17? Are we 17 and 0 now? Is he 17 and 0 now? Am I blind? Yes, it's staring right at me. 16 and 0. Basically 17 and 0 with that aura. Let's be honest. The next opponent he gets, he just wins based off aura. Alright? But no. Ilia is human. Okay? And what I mean by that is Ilia, while he has crazy performances, right? We can all admit Yusuf Zalal gave him his toughest test in round 1. Up a weight class, short notice. Let's remove that from his record. Outside of that, like, stint there, and then he got a nasty knockout. You know? We have, or was it Jai Herbert? It was Jai Herbert. My bad. I got my names mixed up here. Jai Herbert gave him that test. Smoked Ryan Hall. We know how good Ryan Hall is, guys. No. I'm not Jacobs from We Want Picks, alright? Ryan Hall's shit, okay? Let's keep it objective. But he beat Yusuf Zalal, Damon Jackson. Both really good wins. Aging fairly well, you know? And that was before hair surgery, Damon Jackson. Kind of a crazy man, we'll say. Beat Jai Herbert. Crazy win. Beats Bryce Mitchell, which is aging fairly okay now. I know Josh Emmett knocked him out, and that was one of the worst knockouts ever in the entirety of the sport. But beat Josh Emmett, and Josh Emmett, how good's Josh Emmett, guys? You know what I mean? Absolutely, like, and when I mean beat by these guys, I mean like he slaughtered them. This was not close. Slaughtered Ryan Hall. Made him look like a pussy bitch. Slaughtered Jai Herbert after getting hurt. Slaughtered Bryce Mitchell after round 1. Slaughtered Josh Emmett for 5 rounds straight. Probably the first 10-7 in every round I've ever seen. But here's where we get a little controversial, right? Now I understand Alexander's the Great, and we can say all these caveats. Alexander was coming off a knockout to Islam by head kick 3 months ago. No wonder why he got knocked out. Alexander needed more time to recover. He's getting old. This is an old Alexander. This isn't prime. I understand. Listen, I understand those caveats. Even as someone who doesn't... Like, Ilya's not my favorite fighter, but I like Ilia now. Even though that's weird to say. And, hey, listen. I'm no Georgian, you know? Even though I would like to follow some of their... I like my country to start following some of those rules, just saying. But I'm no Georgian. But he is human, And he's getting beaten in these rounds here. And it's important I'm mentioning rounds. In this Alexander fight, I know right now it's like, oh, and a rematch with Alexander Volkanovski. I don't want to see Alex getting knocked out again, you know? I know that's the narrative. Personally, I think Volk should fight Ilia next. I think that should be his last fight, and then he's done with the sport. I think that's what should happen. Because Volk is just getting older. He's going to be like 36, 37 by the next time they fight. I just want him to go off in the sunset where it's like, okay, your only losses are to 2 pound-for-pound goats. Like, that's not bad. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? But would you rather have Volk retire next year getting knocked out to Ilia? Or would you rather Volk try to make a lightweight run, get knocked out by fucking Poirier, and then he beats like a Dan Hooker, and then he gets knocked out by fucking Max Holloway in the quadrilogy, you know? I'm obviously exaggerating, but like, you know, let's be honest here. I think if he does retire after losing to Ilia, hey, that's fair play. He lost to 2 of the best pound-for-pound goats in the fucking sport. You have Ilia and you have Islam, you know? Not goats, but like kings of the sport. But Ilia was losing round 1, and a lot of people brush that over. Ilia was losing round 1, and he was starting to lose round 2. Ilia just found the timing and got the knockout. Listen, hats off. He got the knockout, you know. Great, fair play, right? But he was losing those rounds. That's his fighting style. And while I do think that's a great fighting style for some of these, Ilia's fighting style is perfect for anyone who thinks they're better than you. All right? And what I mean by that is any fighter that starts being comfortable when they're ahead, Ilia will beat every time. And that's kind of my prediction in his career, you know? Jai Herbert, I bet you a fucking $1 million Jai Herbert knocked this guy fucking down in round 1 and was like, this shit's gonna be easy money, you know? And then he gets his ass knocked out in round 2, you know? So, and Bryce Mitchell, looking good in round 1, gets his ass fucking submitted in round 2. Josh Emmett, a little bit of a different story. Josh Emmett's just nowhere near the skill level of Ilia Topuria. We found that out. But Volkanovski, skill for skill, might still be better than Ilia Topuria. And with the narrative being Ilya's better than you, he probably starts mentally getting like, oh, okay, I'm winning this fight. And you can see it in the fight. He's like nodding. He's like, oh yeah, got you with that one. Who? Head kick, fucking leg kick. You know, there's even moments where he's standing there, hands down, fucking throwing kicks, you know? Listen, that's great. But Ilia thrives off those fighters. Because once he knows that you're comfortable, he gets you uncomfortable and knocks your fucking head off, alright? And the same thing happened with Max Holloway. Max Holloway, he won round 1. Some people said round 2 was close. I think if you watch it back and you're, like, being fairly objective and not, like, with the glasses of, like, oh, no, you know, when is Max going to get knocked out? Oh, he's getting hit by those left hooks. You know, listen, they landed for sure. Round 2's close for sure. I would still give it to Max Holloway under an objective lens. And I think it's 2-0 Max going into the third. He gets knocked out. I think Max was starting to feel a better rhythm in round 3. And then when he got stung, Max Holloway doesn't really get stung. He gets in this uncomfortable position because he leaves his hands down a little too much, going for those knees, going for those clinches, or not clinches, but like push-offs, like he was earlier in, I think it was round 2. It's like he got uncomfortable and he got knocked out, you know? And listen, fully respect Ilia Topuria. You can't deny he's got some of the hardest hitting hands in the UFC. By far, not close. But he is human. He is beatable. Someone can beat him. I promise you someone can beat him. But now the question is, who beats Ilia Topuria? Now, currently, everyone's looking at Diego Lopez, but of course you guys seen that clip of Diego Lopez seeing the fight where Max got knocked out and he was kind of like, yeah, bro. Yeah, we know. And while I would still question a Diego. I would still probably pick Diego Lopez. I'm not, no cap. Diego Lopez, easily top 5 fighters in my opinion. But it's clear the greats. Someone really, really good at their style is not going to beat Ilia Topuria. You have to be like, you have to be a gritty, tough fighter. And I don't mean a tough fighter in terms of chin strength. I mean a tough fighter in terms of your guard is really good. You can take a lot of punches. And I think that's why Josh Emmett didn't really get finished. I mean, there's a lot of moments where you could argue that, right? But like a young, in prime, better strike, like a technical striking Josh Emmett. That's the style to beat an Ilia Topuria that has heat in his hands. Because another thing that no one's mentioning, he's not only losing rounds, but watch those fights. I'm telling you, and in the Volkanovski fight and the Max Holloway fight, his head is getting snapped back with a bloodied nose, And listen, right? He's not getting rocked. He's not getting wobbled. He's getting stung, though. He's getting stung with a few of these. And when he gets stung, right, it's just a sting. But if we go 5 rounds, that sting will eventually crack the chin, And I think that's the way you beat Ilia. You either knock him out in round 1 via having overwhelming power, like a Diego Lopez, or you hope that you survive the onslaught in round 5 and you get something going, like a knockout in the late rounds, When we look at the roster, being honest and objective, I think genuinely he clears everyone in the division, not even close, even in their prime. And the reason why is because a lot of these, almost every fighter, when they get comfortable, they kind of use that, And when they're uncomfortable, that's where you see them lose. Arnold Allen, when he's comfortable in a striking matchup against Calvin Kattar, he's looking good. When he's comfortable in Amir Albazi, or not Amir Albazi, what the fuck was his name? Mozavar Evloev. When he's comfortable in a matchup with Mozavar Evloev, he gets a little too comfortable, he gets that knee, and it's like, it breaks his whole rhythm, and then he loses the fight, where that should have been a KO, just saying. But that's the important takeaway, I think, in my opinion, Ilia is hittable. Ilia does lose rounds, and eventually, Ilia's not going to be able to put away everyone. He's finding these shots, these perfect shots, these well-timed shots after losing these rounds. But there are, people that give him tricky questions. I do still think a Diego Lopez is well, I don't know about that matchup, man. Diego Lopez is dangerous in round 1. Very dangerous in round 1. Fuck, he knocked out Brian Ortega and woke Brian Ortega up with 2 punches. Or, sorry, within 1 second in the same round. Different level power. Arguably the same power as Ilia. That's all I'm saying. So if Diego can shock the world, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, when we look at a higher weight division, this is where it gets a little complicated. A Sarukian, I think he slaughters. Sarukian's the exact style that he slaughters. Sarukian is very good at getting comfortable, right? If Ilia can find even the slightest way to get him uncomfortable, I don't remember what that guy's name was that rocked him. What was his name? It's not Gene Silva. What's his name? How do I recap? Like a Joaquim Silva. That's his name. Like a Joaquim Silva. Joaquim Silva rocked Arman really bad. Arguably the most rocked he's ever been. And Arman Sarukian has had losses, mainly to Islam, right? But I think Arman's also young, and I think he's very prone to... He's very much prone to, just getting the rounds taken away from him. I'll say that, I think in the Charles Oliveira fight, he was kind of saved, Even when he was close, almost getting submitted by Charles Oliveira, he knew the things to do, and he was very comfortable just lying there, sitting there, while Charles was making faces and everything. Arguably, Charles Oliveira won that based off that, just saying. But Arman Sarukian, I don't think, could beat him, because Arman Sarukian would get too comfortable thinking he's up rounds trying to shoot takedowns, and maybe you know, Ilia pushes off the takedowns, even though I know Arman Tsarukyan's really juicy. I think Ilia probably has the better technique of the two. But I think Arman Tsarukyan would get comfortable and think right hook right over the top, knocks him out clean. And then Charles Oliveira, I think this one's pretty simple. I think Charles Oliveira will throw a few strikes and then he'll get knocked out because Charles Oliveira just doesn't have a great chin. If you don't have a great chin and you're already going to fight Ilia, it's just wraps. Justin Gaethje, I think we get chin. Dustin Poirier, unironically, I think a style like the style to beat Ilia here, right? He is human. I'm telling you guys, he's human. He has to be. You know, there has to be justice in this world for him knocking out Max Holloway. You know, there's got to be a fucking justice. All right. I think this, like, the exact, if you want me to, like, picture you the exact fighter that beats Ilia, it is a better Dustin Poirier. Simply put. Dustin Poirier doesn't have the craziest chin anymore, and his grappling defense isn't great. His takedown defense is fairly decent now, but you need good grappling defense to ensure you don't get submitted like a Dustin Poirier. But you need to have that striking level of, I am not afraid to get dangerous, survive through the toughness sort of situation. But you need to be, like, even cleaner than a Dustin Poirier, you know? No hands low, throwing fucking, you know, shovel hooks. You know, I'm talking like your striking defense is just on a different level to Dustin here, you know? But if you gave Dustin Poirier the striking defense, like, of an Ilia, I think Dustin Poirier is the better fighter. Ooh, don't shoot me. Hey, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Skill for skill, bang for bang. You know? Ilia's got good technique, but he does whiff shots. And he does get tagged, man. He gets stung. Watch those fights back. Except for the knockout rounds. We don't need to see that again. But watch those fights back. I'm telling you, this guy is human. Alright? He gets lit up. Right? Like, I don't think a Lerone Murphy's gonna fucking beat him. I don't think an Aljamain's gonna beat him. You know, Aljamain we get way too confident, as he does. But yeah, you need to be a fighter with, like, a Dustin Poirier level of style, where he's not afraid to get backed up against the cage and, like, start winging shots to try to get a knockout, similar to what he did with Benoit Saint-Denis. But you need to have a better striking defense. You need to be able to block things very fast, like very, very fluently. That's why I think Diego Lopez stands a really good chance, because in a way, Diego Lopez is kind of everything that you want Dustin Poirier to be. Great on the feet, great on the ground, but Diego Lopez is his own, like, person, because he's got that, you know? You know? He's got that tick that he's got. So he is definitely his own person. And yeah, I would pick Diego Lopez to beat a Dustin Poirier. I just think you need that level. You know, that's my personal take. Those are my thoughts and opinions. Don't shoot me, please. You know, Georgian fans. Alright. I'm just saying, man, Ilia is human. Okay? He is beatable. There is a game plan to beat him. Okay? Well, not really a game plan. They're still trying to figure that out at the Volkanovski University. Alright? But there is a game plan. He is beatable. He's human. We will find out Saturday night. Oh my god, I can't say that anymore, man. Fuck, man. But yeah. Oh, fuck. Max Holloway, why'd you have to get knocked out? Oh. Anyways, Ilia is human. He does get hit up. Or he does get lit up. And I think Ilia's biggest weakness is either he's going to be too reliant on getting that finish, and he'll get the fight taken away from him, or he'll get too comfortable himself in the first round by being like, I'm just the better striker, I'm overconfident as fuck. Because, in my opinion, I don't think Ilia genuinely thinks that he's, like, a better fighter than Volkanovski. I don't think he genuinely thinks he's a better fighter right now than Max Holloway. I think he believes that he can be a better fighter, but I don't think he genuinely thinks that. I think he just deals with things as they come, you know? Like, oh, Max Holloway, yeah, I could, you know, I think I can find a way to clip him, because he does this thing, he does that thing, I can definitely find a way to clip him there, you know? And he even mentioned it in his post-fight speeches, you know, Max Holloway, Volkanovski, some of the greatest fighters, you know, ever to walk the planet, you know? Ilia, is of that breed, and he is really the new generation of that greatest fighter to ever walk the planet. So I think Ilia is beatable. Bro is only, what, like 27? 26? No, he's got to be 27. 27. Probably turning 28. The guy's a fucking legend already. Not one of the greatest featherweights yet. Hold on now. You know, we gotta get some time. But yeah, those are my thoughts and opinions. I just wanted to share them. Remind everyone that Ilia is human. He is beatable. He does get tagged. He could let the fight, you know, last a little too long. You know. Max Holloway did better than Volkanovski. That's all I'm saying. You know, there's an argument that Max is better than Volk now. Just saying. Anyways, with all that being said, well, thank you for watching. And as always, I hope you have a good day.